of Newcastle Airport, Dr. Peter Koch is responsible for all facets of the business. He works closely with the board of directors to set the business strategy and ensure the business is match fit to deliver its potential. Under Peter's leadership, Newcastle Airport has achieved record passenger throughput and record profits, which have been delivered back to the community through dividends to Newcastle Airport Council's owners, Newcastle City Council and Port Stephens Council. With more than a decade of aviation experience, Peter previously worked with Perth Airport, progressing from Environmental Manager to Chief Operating Officer. Welcome, Peter. Thanks so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Let's begin with if you could tell us a little bit about your career path.
It's been kind of non-traditional. I left high school and started off doing vet science, actually. So that's kind of not where I've ended up, obviously. And I didn't like that, so I ended up doing environmental science. From that, I became an environmental consultant and worked for industry and professional services consulting. And I went and worked at Perth Airport as their environment manager. And from that, I kind of walked past the right door at the wrong time, or the wrong door at the right time, and ended up, after a few years, to be Chief Operating Officer. And so I did that job for about 5 years, and then left Perth Airport. And principally, one of the main reasons was to change up my career, but the other one was to look after my daughter, who at the time was 2 years old. So that was a really great thing to do, and I was really happy I did that. And that's when after that I got the job at Newcastle Airport, which has just been a fabulous, increase in my career and a new challenge.
What are the key skill sets that leaders need?
I think humility is a really important one. I think that's particularly important in Australia. No one likes, I don't know if I can say wanker on the tape, but no one likes a wanker. So, but also ego gets in the way of lots of things, and it gets in the way of achieving outcomes, and it just becomes a fight about ego. So humility is an important one, and grit is another really important one. Determination. I think it's old-fashioned, but it used to be called strength of character. But it's just that ability to keep going and to drive forward. And probably the last one, I think, is some insight. So it's all very well being humble and being determined, but if you can't work out doing the right thing, then that hampers you, kind of thing. So I've had to narrow it down into three things. I think they're the things that I think going to make me a good leader.
Peter, what is one action or task you ensure you incorporate into your diary each week?
It's actually one task I try and incorporate each day, and that's to get in and walk around our business. Airports are very, very much a people business, and people are such fascinating things. You build a terminal and you'll think people will queue one way or use the space in a particular way, and they just don't. They're such interesting and confusing beasts, or we are. So you need to actually get down there and experience it and work out what people are doing and how the customer's experiencing your business. And I think it also helps with staff. Staff like to know that you're engaged in the business. You're not just sitting up in an ivory tower and the classic shiny bum kind of syndrome. And airports are a combination of lots of different people. There's security screeners and ground handlers and check-in agents, all for different businesses, but everyone has to work together. And so as CEO of an airport, you've got to build relationships, and it's about group culture, which is even more difficult than organisational culture. So people you don't influence, but you can't control, pardon me, but you have to influence by being out and about. So I think getting out and about in my business is probably the one thing I make sure, and it's during the peak normally. So if you're at our airport at about 1 o'clock, you'll see me wandering around, hopefully. Say hello.
What do you think is unique about doing business in the Hunter?
Well, having been here for about 2.5 years now, coming from Perth, Perth's funny because Perth thinks it's different from everywhere else, and the wise men from the east and all that sort of thing. But what I've found, I think, different in the Hunter is the willingness of businesses to work together. There's a real sense of regional identity, and I didn't so much find that in Perth. It's a bigger place in a bigger city, and so it was very much independent and no one really minded where you were from. But I think from my time here, there's a real willingness to cooperate. And we try and do that and have local suppliers and all that sort of stuff, because it is such an important part of this region and the region's identity, and I think the region's future and how we are going to succeed. So yeah, that's what I found is probably the most different thing.
And to finish today, Peter, what local business person do you find inspiring?
It's a tricky one. There's lots of people that I do find inspiring, and stepping up into a CEO role, I found lots of people both helpful and inspiring. But I'm probably going to not answer the question properly by saying it's actually not a business people, it's actually across the runway from us. So the inspiring leaders, I think, are in the RAAF, and I get to engage with a number of ranges. From currently Craig Heath is the Senior Defence Force Officer, and Amanda Cornell, they're kind of pivotal people we deal with. But I kind of deal with a number of other leaders in that business, and I think what's most inspiring about those guys is, you know, the enormity of the challenge and things they do with the redevelopments of the RAF and the scale of what they do. But they actually convince and lead people into harm's way. So they've got people there who are actively out doing things and putting themselves in danger to protect us, and to lead people into that context. I just think it's an amazing skill. So that inspires me.
I think that's a fabulous answer to finish on today. Thank you so much for your time, Peter.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Always fun to be involved.